Good morning and welcome to all of you beautiful, beaming points of light and awakening souls. Welcome to the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And Sunday morning is about tarot time. Now, firstly, before I start, my microphone's acting up. So I think you're hearing me from my computer microphone rather than my regular microphone. So hopefully the sound quality is okay. So if you guys can't hear me, please let me know. So that's announcement number one. Announcement number two is that at 2 o'clock today, I'm going to do another live event and talk about the Ascension updates and some practices that my guides gave me to share with you, some information to share with you as you may be noticing there's a lot of ups and downs with the energies, and I kind of talked about that in some of my posts. So Michael says that I sound good. All right, so I won't worry too much about the microphone. So, anyways, so if you guys are new, let us know where you're coming from. What part of the world? I'm in the Catskills in New York, and it's snowing out a little bit. And I know some of you, a lot of you are downstate from me, so some of you are experiencing some snow this morning after it's close to 60 degrees yesterday, and the energies that are going to be affecting us, well, they have been affecting us, but are going to continue to affect us and actually get stronger. Um, are going to be very up and down, just like the temperature and the weather. So expect the energies, the highs and the lows, to kind of follow the thermometer, so to speak. So, anyways, so we're going to jump right into some tarot stuff, and yeah, I did tell you guys about what's going on in just a couple of hours. So in between tarot time and 2 o'clock, I'm going to be busy with my notes. So I did not check the ephemeris. Luckily, Sharita Star's on, so she can fill you in on what's going on with the aspects. I do know we're coming into a very powerful full moon on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I think it's the snow moon or the big snow moon. I forgot the name of this full moon. If anybody knows, you can comment it. But it's a full moon in Leo, and then it'll go into Virgo later on in the day. So actually, rather than Wednesday, Tuesday night, I'm going to do a transmission, but we're going to have Heather Istara, our special guest and our star healer that works with us on the Medium channel sometimes. I'll do my Archangel transmission and tap into those frequencies of the Archangels to assist you in calibrating the full moon energies and to assist you in your upgrade, in your awakening, in your heart expansion and all that stuff. But she's going to step in and do a nice healing for us and a nice transmission for us also. So that's going to be Tuesday, 7 o'clock live here on the Medium channel. Oh, anyhow, I just wanted to peek into where you guys are. Oh, New Orleans, wonderful. I guess no snow there. Um, and sound is good. 16th full moon in Leo. Sharita and Gavin speaks tends to come on and off quickly. East of the Hudson, just a dusting here. Yeah, just a dusting here also. All right, so where are my tarot cards? They are right here. So let's see. We're in the sign Aquarius. We're gonna go into the sign Pisces. In just a few days, actually. What like a week maybe. On the 20th or 19th even. So the card that rules the sign Pisces is the Moon card. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna find that this morning. So this is the energy we come into, and we're all these beacons of light and love. Sometimes through our, the course of social conditioning and what's going on in the world and all that stuff, our light dims, and we start to maybe get influenced by what's going on in the world around us, the programming, the powers that be, and all of that. But the Moon card reminds us to shine our inner light out into the world. Now, yeah, the moonlight, in the moonlight, colors look different. Everything looks different. Everything kind of has a shimmery, silvery, kind of almost like an etheric glow to it. And the moon, what does the moon do, though? What does the moon do? I was gonna say, what does the moon does? No, what does the moon do? It's Sunday morning. Forgive me. It reflects. It reflects the sunlight back to us, but it doesn't look like the sun. It has a whole new kind of an orb and a whole new glow. So this is a time to really connect with, yeah, the moon card rules Pisces, right? Am I getting that right? Yeah. Because the chariot rules Cancer. For a second, I thought I had the wrong card. No, it is the moon card. So we're good. And on this deck, you could see like a little path, and it's kind of going in between. I need my glasses to actually see what's going on in this card. Yeah, they're kind of like two towers or two pillars, and kind of going in between. Now, the two pillars are the number 11. So when you go into the heart of the number 11, kind of like going in between the two pillars and going through the door to higher consciousness. So the moon can take us into that frequency of the subconscious mind. And once we are able to open the subconscious mind, then we can open up to the higher levels of mind or the higher levels of spirit. So you can use this as your meditation card if you like. But I'm gonna pull another meditation card also. Plenty snow on Long Island. Yeah, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 inches for you guys on Long Island, Teresa. Just a trace up here in the beautiful Catskills, and I can see Mount Tremper in the distance out my window. So it's cold but beautiful day. We hit about 55 up here yesterday. So, and consciousness, energy's up and down, the temperature's up and down, the weather's up and down. I heard that there's a game going on later today, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing the next live stream at 2 rather than at 7. And tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So I'll do a little love forecast also. Why not? But happy Valentine's Day. So that's why I'm not doing it Sunday night, Monday night either. I'm not going to have any live people if I do it. Everybody's going to either be out with their sweethearts, or they're going to be home thinking about being single. But if you are single, the idea is to embrace it. Love thyself. And I'm single. I'm happily single. I've been, in the state for a good while, and not regretting it. But the idea is when we can really love ourselves and we can be our own best friends, and we open up our vibration and energy for others to love us. So the idea is for those, because like any other holiday, like Valentine's Day can be sad. If you wish that you had a partner, if you had or if you have a partner that crossed the veil and went to the other side. So this is the time to really open your heart to your loved ones in spirit, but also to, again, as I was saying earlier, to just feel like you are love. You don't need to find somebody to find love. You are love. And the way that energy works, as is expressed in law of attraction teaching, is when you become the vibration of that which you desire, then you become magnetic to it. So you are love. You don't need anybody to find love. So if you own that and you express that and you open your heart and you do your heart-brain coherence, which we do here on the channel, as many of you know, then you become magnetic to find the perfect partner to express the love that's in your heart, or to reflect the love that's in your heart, or to share the love that's in your heart. Otherwise, there's other elements that are going on in your psyche. Like if you feel like you need a partner to find love, you emit need out into the universe, and you wonder why you keep winding up with needy partners or whatever. So I think you get the gist of that. Anyway, love to Vowel, 365 days of the year. Yes. Thank you, Sharita. Every day is Valentine's Day. We celebrated on the 14th of February, which is kind of the Ides of February, since it's only got 28 days. But every day is Valentine's Day. Every day we need to be in our heart, and it's especially important now. the idea, and I think the message for Valentine's Day is to be in the heart. Okay, I'm just going to pull one card and just ask Spirit to give us a meditation card, and maybe sort of a lead-in card for our week also. And this is a very good one to pick. So there's more often than not we get major arcana cards for our meditation card. Judgment is interesting. Key 20, the awakening. Sharita has a lot more to say about that, being an expert in Chaldean numerology, and Archangel Gabriel blowing the horn, right? So Archangel Gabriel's the awakener, and um, and dwells in the west of the Ascension direction, if that's even a word or a thing, but dwells in the west. And you can call on Archangel Raphael by visualizing a silver chalice with beautiful crystal white flames around it, and then you open your heart. With an open heart, you become irresistible to the angelic realms. I see the archangels as frequencies, but they can appear to us as beings also. And yes, I'm just looking at your I'll be watching the game. I'm going to not at 11, but at 2 o'clock, for anybody that's watching the game, we're going to do. I'm going to have a little message and a little exercise that you can do to not just watch the game, but to really understand the mechanics of the mass programming that's very prevalent in events like the Super Bowl or the ball drop on New Year's Eve, or events like that. So anybody wants to watch the Super Bowl tonight, I'll do something with you that you can start to watch it with new eyes. Although a lot of you are all too aware of what's going on anyway, but yeah, understanding the mechanics. But yeah, 70,000 fans in a closed football stadium during a pandemic, drinking, charged up from football, when they're programmed angry as hell from all the mandates, everything that's going on in the world, ready to kill the other side if they don't agree with their policies on how to deal with the virus. I mean, what could go wrong, right? But anyway, we'll send them some prayers. And getting back to the judgment card. So when you meditate with the card, step in, see what's going on, feel the energy. This is our awakening. That's why we pulled this today, because the energies are so amped up right now. And I know most of you are feeling that, but the energies are so amped up, and high highs, low lows. Maybe you're feeling things that you never felt before. Maybe you're feeling more of what's going on in the collective. Um, Maybe you need to shut down a little bit. But as the energies keep increasing, it affects our DNA, it affects our bodies, it affects our cells, it affects our nervous system, it affects our DNA. And once it reaches a certain threshold, dormant codes start to ignite, they start to turn on, and then we start to become aware of abilities that we forgot about, supernatural abilities, healing abilities, so all the stuff that I talk about when I talk about heart brain coherence practice. So this is telling us that it's an awakening, it's a renewal, it's consciousness, but also the judgment card is fire in tarot, trials by fire. It has not, it's not, it's similar in a way to the Tower card, but not really. It's similar because it's a very fiery energy of change. But once you reach judgment in the Fool's Journey in the Tarot, you've already had your structures leveled, and you've already built like a new tower, so to speak. And now's the time to really go to the top of the tower and start to feel the vibration of spirit, start to see the constellations, see the stars, and join with the stars, and understand that death and dying is nothing to fear. It's just a different state of being, but we're immortal souls having temporary human experiences in very temporary and frail human bodies. But once you reach that awakening, you start to transcend the illusion of time, the illusion of death and rebirth, and then you start to connect to source in another way. So That's what initiation is. When you have a spiritual breakthrough, like spiritual growth doesn't happen in a steady, line. You have a quantum leap, so to speak. A quantum leap in science is when electrons jump their orbit to a higher orbital level. Well, they don't technically orbit. In fact, electrons are really energy. They exist sometimes as energy and sometimes as matter, because they travel one hundredth the speed of light around a tiny nucleus. But anyway, that's what a quantum leap means in science. It's kind of going to the next level of energy, so to speak. So that's what spiritual growth is, that we plateau for a while, then all of a sudden we awaken to our next level, and then we assimilate all the new knowledge and all the new energy and the new insights, and we start to discover who we are as spirit and what our roles are in this awakening, evolving earth. And then at some point we'll have another awakening, and that it's another initiation. So that's what death is. It's an initiation. It's a change. So if we fear dying, we fear living. And if we have a fear of death, that means we have a fear of an initiation and going to a higher spiritual level. One of the reasons I do mediumship is to help people to allay that fear of dying, to understand there is no death. And when our loved ones come through from the other side and they remember their birthdays or names, or see like the wedding that you were just at, and give specific information like that, it just lets them know that consciousness continues, that nothing dies, nobody dies. We just change forms, but energy cannot be lost or gained. It can only transmute and transfer into one form or one expression into another. So anyway, that's what that is. Oh, thank you, Sharita, for that. Yes, precognitive dreams. So, yes, see what your dreams are going to be next week. I think that that's a message. And I believe that this is a big part of the forecast, that a lot of us that are part of this community are going to experience a new level of awakening. So, moving right along, yeah, I've kind of given up trying to keep these to to a half hour. I think I get a little too chatty on a Sunday morning, but anyways, I know you guys love me anyway, so I'm not worried about it. um, I'm gonna mix cards up and ask Spirit to guide me to the right three cards. It'll give us maybe a little bit of an idea of what's going on in the world around us that affects us, but mostly what's going on internally in our process of growth and evolution at this time of great awakening. I'm not running mad to my office because my internet's not working today, so I actually have my clipboard. I don't have to hold the card that way. This one also. All right. So let's see what we got today. Interesting, because it's kind of like leading off with what we ended up with last time. These are nice cards. Yeah, all about love. Yeah, having the Ace of Cups coming up on Valentine's Day week. Spirit is after me own heart. I tell you. um, um, but this eight of wands reversed. Try not to be in a hurry this week. We have the powerful Leo full moon. We're right on the cusp of it right now. It's happening I think early-ish on Wednesday. um eight of wands tends to be a little bit too much in a hurry sometimes. Sometimes it's really about slowing down. This to me has a feel of like some noise going on around some misinformation, misrepresentation of facts. I mean, what else is new? But a couple of weeks ago, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did a live stream about what I felt was going to be some really, really big news. I mean, it is, but it's still very much buried, and specifically about certain emails that Anthony Fauci received and sent kind of validating that there was pre-knowledge of at least a strong possibility that COVID came from a lab, and that there's significant evidence of a cover up. So we'll see if that hits the mainstream or not. I mean, it's out there, so it's kind of like, are they going to do anything about it or not? But in a way, we may be getting some good or favorable news. Since I'm talking about the trajectory of the pandemic, cases are down or whatever, at least according to the media, and people are starting to gather. The three of cups are people gathering in a happy and joyful way. So we I think we're finding some progress in that area, but this card is really, what it's telling me is read between the lines and understand the nature of technology. And I'm quoting my late martial arts teacher that I studied with, on and off for a number of years. But that was one of his expressions, technology, and I learned a lot about political and social awareness back in the 80s. Working with him and studying with him and everything. He's very up on stuff like that, and yeah, and there were plenty of conspiracy theories back then also, and they're not that different than the ones that we have now. They just kind of translated it into what's going on in the world now versus back then. But the essence of it's the same, and if you break through the all the control factors and all the illusions and smoke screens around that, again, it's really about power and corruption, power over people. I think that one of the things that this is showing, and it may not all happen this week, but people are going to really, more and more people are going to just see like how basically every step of their life and their thinking is a program and a system of control from a very few people that benefit from that. And then, the masses suffer as a result of that. So this is really our time to break free. That judgment card really spoke to me. That's the awakening. That's the renewal. It's not always easy when that happens, because there's a lot of adjustment that needs to happen once an awakening occurs. But this is telling me, slow down, be again in your heart, be in the eye of the storm, so to speak. Do a lot of deep breathing, a lot of release work. This feels to me like a good time for release work. And the energy builds, the lunar energies are building, they start to begin to wane. And then Mercury, I think, comes out of its shadow, or close to it this week. Venus, I think, is another week or two. But these inner planets are moving again, and all the planets are moving forward again. And what else is this trying to tell me? Oh, I'm seeing probably Russia and the Ukraine, and I know that's a hot topic also. So that may begin to escalate. But these cups around here is very hopeful. This is positive energy, and I think it's spiritual way of saying no matter what chaos is going on in the world, that it is positive at the end of the day, that things have to change. Society's been unsustainable for a while, that they have to change. And also to understand that there already is a war. There may not be battlefields, but there already is a global war. It happens not on the battlefield, but on the cyber battlefield. So that's where the war is. It's cyber attacks. It's behind the scenes. It's very subversive, but it's there and it affects us. And the war is really a war on consciousness and um, and ideologies, and trying to keep people in this kind of mental matrix, not allowing for that growth or that realization or that expansion of spirit. Because when we're connected to spirit and we're expanded into who we truly are, then we connect with our power, and then we become healthy again. That's how we cure illness and how we become empowered and healthy. So we're going to talk a good deal more about that in the next live stream. But let me move on. Do I have my? Yes, I do have my Native American card. So let me pull one from there also. Again, Ace of Cups, new beginnings. I'll flash this again. New beginnings. Cups are emotions. Cups are water. This can be joy, happiness. Maybe some of you will fall in love or something like that. Maybe for a couple of you, this is a personal forecast. And for anybody that this is more of a personal forecast, you may have a few miscommunications or a few misfires, but there's something very beautiful happening in your life, especially in a romantic sense. But it can be that could also be about really finding what you love to do, or really focusing on what you love and where you feel a calling and where your awakening takes you and what you feel called to do. So have courage and have faith, and understand that no matter what you're going through, you can change your energy and you can change your life. Now, I won't lie and say that it's easy to do, because we're all dealing with a whole lifetime and actually many lifetimes of programming, and then we're part of a collective that's all programmed. So all that energy is affecting us and making it more challenging to do our own inner work, to evolve and to break free of the old programs. But the reason, virtually, we won't say 100%, because there's always a soul's choice, there's always exceptions to the rules, but virtually everybody, you're sick because of your programming. And when you change that and you find that balance and you reconnect to spirit and source, and and help to move the energies through your body, you're going to start to get well again. And the mind is what makes us sick or healthy, and our minds are programmed. I mean, that's a fact, um, because that's how the subconscious mind works. Now, the way that you're programmed, it could either be that society is programming you, so you're being programmed by forces that want to control and manipulate you for their gain, but at your detriment, or you can learn how to program yourself. But the subconscious mind works strictly on programs, and this computer that's in front of me was patterned after the human mind. So who's going to be the programmer? Is it going to be us, or is it going to be an outside force programming our computers and downloading programs and and software into our mental computer? So anyways, um, that said, I gonna move on. As I promised 10 minutes ago. um, so let's see if, if the what I pull on the Native American that backs up what I just said. This is the card. Okay. Giveaway dance. Did we get this one last week or the week before? This is very Thanksgiving, the potlatch. When we give from our hearts, then we open to receive. Give gratitude. That's the first thing to give, is gratitude. And through that, when it's pure and genuine gratitude, we match the frequency of the universe, because the universe is the giver. We feel grateful when we receive. So we become a match. We become a cycle of energy, a circle of energy, and a circle of knowledge. So feel free to give something of your heart to somebody that you love. And again, there's a very kind of community thing. I think what this card here, so we go this card and this card are saying is that more conscious community. Now, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. What we see with the truckers in Canada, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's going on behind the scenes. There are plenty of freedom movements. There are a lot of people that understand what's going on and want to help us awaken. Now, they're vastly outnumbered by the ones that are still sleeping because of the programming, but connect with your communities. Now, of course, this would be an opportune time for a little plug, but there's a community here of conscious people. But whatever your community is, whether it's on YouTube, or if you have a group that you talk to, or whatever it is. Start really connecting with community, strength in numbers. Um, the systems want to divide us because when we're divided, we're more fearful because we feel more alone, therefore more controllable. But when we're united, we draw on the strength of the group. We draw on the strength of the whole. So that I believe that that's part of what this is saying, but also really again giving with your heart and everything like that. So let me move on because we want to get on with our mornings and everything. I have the medicine cards today rather than my other animal deck that I use, the Sea Farmer um, Spirit Guide Animals. So I decided to do something different. The only thing about the medicine card is it's only going to draw upon the animal kingdom in North America, where my other cards are global. But I also have a little book that I can look at also. Okay, so this is what I pulled. Maybe there's a message here. Medicine card. It's Spirit having a sense of humor. They drew me right to this card. It's like, okay, thank you, Spirit, for being funny. We need a good laugh. Okay, this one. Okay, I think this is really going to be an animal, and it is. Do you have bats in your belfry? um, Bats are pretty amazing because they kind of see with their mind, so to speak. They send out sonar, and they're able to see. And I like to look. See, I have the book too. So it's key 42. So maybe the numerology 42 speaks to you also. Um, um, Excuse me while I do this. So bat medicine is rebirth. Oh, I like that. Rebirth. And there's a little poem here. Sacred bat flew to me from darkness of the cave, womb like reflections, answers it gave. Birth, death, rebirth, cycles of the whole, never ending, just eclipse the journey of the soul. Oh, I love that. So this is really, again about rebirth. Wow, and reflection. But um, um, I'm just glancing at some of this, and in different traditions, bats embrace the idea of shamanistic death and the ritual of death of the healer steeped in secrets and highly involved initiation rites, all the things we've been talking about. So there you have it. So that's our totem for the week, the bats. And like I said, I always associate it with the behaviors that they kill eat a lot of insects, but they have very advanced radar and sonar detection. So maybe part of that, as we awaken and renew, that we develop our spiritual radar also. And last but certainly not least, get an angel message today. uh, as everybody's saying that they love Sharita today. um, Meditation America is your ultimate cure. Seeing in the dark, perfect. Yes. 42 people on the channel now. Well, it went down to 40, but okay. So that's interesting. All right. Clear my mind. This card here. Opal, we got Opal a few times before. Your children on earth and in heaven are happy and well cared for by God and the angels. We're children of God also, or spirit. Be good to your children, but be childlike yourself, and know that your inner child, that part of you that trusts, that's pure, that's innocent, is protected by spirit, also protected by God, also. Um, Meditation, also the fountain of youth. Yes, I might talk a little bit about that at 2 o'clock, which you're mentioning the fountain of youth. Expanding at the heart frequency is the fountain of youth. Living from the heart, expressing from the heart, do your heart brain coherence. And yes, we have videos on that. We actually did a guided meditation last week where I led you guys through a heart brain coherence meditation. And from there, we expanded our heart frequencies into the collective and expanded that into the belly of the beast, so to speak, to try to affect or try to remind our leaders that they actually do have a soul, and to try to access that. Because if everybody that's imposing their will on the people starts to remember that they are soul and spirit themselves, a lot is going to change, because they will not be able to do what they're doing anymore. Because when you start to connect with soul, you start to connect with love and compassion. And how can you create a world where people are upset, where they're fighting, where they're hungry? Meanwhile, you have the money and resources to do something about it. It's not possible. So we're going to do that every other Sunday, by the way. We're going to get together as a community, do more of our own heart brain work, our own heart expansion work, and continue to send that love into the collective. So I'm going to do that every other Sunday. And there's one other thing I wanted to say about that, but I can't think of it now. Um, but again, the idea, okay, came back to me because Sharita mentioned the fountain of youth. That's how I started to talk about the heart. Now, in biology science, I think it's actually 121 years, but somewhere around 120 years is said to be the absolute max that humans can live, based upon telomeres. Is that what they're called? The little kind of cones at the end of the chromosome. I think they're called telomeres. But due to the way that our cells divide, the telomeres degenerate. So basically, when you, to make a long story short, when you expanded the heart, you release more telomerase, which is an enzyme that protects the chromosomes basically. And everybody that's ever been interviewed that lived past 120 say the same thing. Like, what's your secret of longevity? What's your fountain of youth? I live from the heart. I'm compassionate. I live simply. Eat simply, live simply, and live from the heart. And that is the secret. It's not complicated, my loved ones. It is really, really simple. Start to expand the frequencies of the heart. Everything else in spirituality, all your other chakras will develop from there. All your other facets of spirituality, your intuition, your healing abilities, your connection to the angels, all starts with the heart, which I often refer to as the root chakra of your higher self, because the heart is where our physical lower three physical chakras meet our high upper three spiritual chakras. So that's what I have for you. And we'll see you guys at 2 if you're able to join us. If not, all this comes on as a video. Thanks for joining me this morning, and have a beautiful, wonderful day. And love you.